Friday night. Anybody's first time here? Welcome so much. Yeah, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Everybody else is a stranger, right? No. We just had a nice course over the weekend. It was the Be a Monk Challenge. And raise your hand if you're part of the Be a Monk Challenge. Previously also.
Still trying to be a monk.
So thank you so much for coming, all of you. This program is where we can come and discuss every week something from the ancient Vedic literatures, and then we have some music, some sacred groups, a lot of association with nice people. So tonight we just had our kirtan, and outside of this very disturbing photo that's on the screen, now we're gonna have a talk about the yoga of the tongue.
I think you have to put a pineapple pizza.
Pineapple pizza. So, before me is Natabar Gauranga. He's a graduate of the University of Michigan, and he worked as a computer engineer before joining the monastery. And that was like what? 12?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, probably 12 years ago.
A little less than that.
Yeah.
2013, 2014.
Yeah, he's been practicing as a monk for like maybe 10 to 12 years now. And he's one of our senior monks here at the Bhakti School. And he is actually part of the team that does the Harinam every day. Harinam is where you, basically the kirtan you saw here, they do it out in the park every day for 6 hours. They Washington Square Park, Union Square Park, Columbus Circle. You have seen one of us.
How many people, raise your hand, have you met us in one of those parks at one of those kirtans? Raise your hand if you met us somewhere else. And that's how you know how you
they met in the
got here.
Subway.
The subway. Oh. Yes, you? Subway? And? You just walked by. You saw the sign outside or something? Or oh, cool.
He's a
Carmen?
Airport is when I first remember.
The airport. Okay, wow.
The
Yeah.
subway's like a retail park.
Yeah. That's
So-
classic.
Maybe
Yeah,
less
that's
than 10.
that's even in the movies. You guys can find some.
Airport is old school.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. So he's going to be speaking about the yoga of the tongue, and right now it's 7:20, and he'll speak for maybe 40-45 minutes. There'll be some question and discussion. Then we'll have another kirtan, then we'll have dinner afterwards. So thank you so much, and let's give a big round of applause to Matthew.
Hare Krishna. So disclaimer, although it appears I'm sitting here and you guys are all sitting there and you're listening to me, there's probably a lot that I could learn from all of you. So I want this to be like back and forth. And I didn't really prepare so much. So you guys have to answer all the questions actually. And then we can see where it goes. So Hadai yesterday or the day before said the person canceled and I should speak. And then he just gave the topic, the yoga of the tongue. So I thought maybe we should talk about what is the tongue, what is yoga, and what happens when you combine that. Does that, everyone's following me, right? So far, that makes sense. So this is just something that I thought about. You have animals and you have humans. And humans are an animal technically, but what's the difference between a human and an animal? For 100 points. Yes, from Georgia. A soul.
Yeah.
But animals don't have souls?
They have soul, but they have.
What's by soul? What do you mean?
We have
Let's-
self-awareness.
Okay, that's something. Anything else? Self-awareness. Humans are more self-aware than maybe a bug or a dog or a giraffe. Although sometimes they show, like, I remember seeing this funny video. They put a mirror in the jungle and like a gorilla goes up and it's like thinks it's like some other person, and then it takes them. Actually, sometimes they can have a little bit of self-awareness, but it's very it's less. More just animalistic instincts, right? No one has any other difference between an animal and a human?
Free will.
Free will? Yeah, I don't know if animals have free will or not.
Memory?
Memory, okay. Humans have more memory.
Well, I think their stuff is instinct.
And some animals have
Dog
like
gets
you know, it's like
confused.
you come home, your dog knows who you are even when you're gone for like I have a dog that my parents got when I was like leaving the house when I was like 18 or 19, and it's like she's like 10 years old right now or a little older than that. But I come home, she still remembers what I smell like and like seems to get happy when I'm around.
There's more instinct for protection, the territory, so no strangers come in.
And so how is memory different from that?
Memory is like if somebody mistreats me today, tomorrow I'm not gonna.
But isn't that the same as like the
door.
instinct? You could just say that's also instinct. That's just instinct to protect my same thing.
His
I mean,
property, his territory.
but he still remembers that this is the bad thing and that's the good thing. Like, oh, this person's my person. I remember who they are.
Because that person feeds him.
And you remember the person that hurt you, and that person hurt you. You got to protect yourself. But one thing that I have here, the human tongue is special. We're talking about tongues, right? So what's the difference between an animal tongue and a human tongue? I mean, they both have taste buds. Like a cat has taste buds has receptors that can taste amino acids much better. Humans, we have taste buds that can taste 6 tastes. Sour, sweet, salty, astringent, spicy, and I'm missing one.
Sweet? Did you say sweet?
Did I not say sweet?
Bitter.
Bitter. Yeah, I think I said sweet. Yeah, sweet's my favorite. Bitter. Yeah, see, that's no one likes the bitter medicine. You're smart then. Yeah, it takes actually even like the body as the tongue will taste a bitter taste and immediately get revolted. Like especially kids, they hate eating bitter things. But as the body realizes that, wait, I have the bitter thing, and then afterwards it becomes healthy, then it's okay. Then you begin to like it. That means your body's actually a little intelligent. Well, my idea was that animals can't speak. Like parrot can speak, but I'm sure the conversation you would have with the parrot is not that fun. I don't know if the parrot could come here and speak some lecture about how parrots can speak.
Actually, animals can speak and
Yeah, good point.
yeah,
speak to each
animals
other.
can speak and communicate with each other.
Yeah, like
but it's different than the people.
I would say, and then let me rephrase it, and you guys see if you like this. Human speaking is more refined. Animal speaking is very primitive. Like a bird can like and warn all its bird friends that something's coming around. And based on how he says, he has a few different words. You could say words, and generally animals are much more better at just perceiving the entire thing. Like I've recently, we'll talk about this a little later, but on YouTube I get stuck watching these guys like get these dogs that are crazy, and then they like they know how to communicate with the dog. So then the dog instantly just becomes normal. It's like some crazy dog that's always biting people and like rah, 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 rah. And then this guy, the dog, either that Caesar Milan or this other guy, he'll like know how to, the dog whisperer. And he'll go to the dog and he'll know how the dog communicates, and he'll just communicate to the dog in the way that the dog communicates, and then the dog will understand and just be chilled. And then the owner will be like, what the heck? And it's never actually training the owner. I mean, never it's training the dog. The dog is just going to act its natural instinct. But it's more or less training the owner how to talk to the dog in the dog's language, which is a more primitive, like they can read your emotions, they can read your state of being. They may understand also kind of what you're saying, but to have like a fluid conversation, they lack that. And so this is one area where humans, where we are exceeding the other animals, because we can express and communicate deep ideas, whereas animals are reduced to kind of just this primitive communication. They can warn about approaching enemies, like I was saying, or they can cry to their mother for food, like the baby birds. Have you ever seen a baby bird get fed? You can look at that. Anyway, or they like most of the. If you did a translation, if you just went into the jungle of like what all the animals are saying, most of them would just be like crying out for a mate. Like, I want sex, I want sex, I want sex. That's like what most of them are saying. So they can say stuff like that. But when a human says it in like very beautiful poetry or like a PhD thesis, it's much more refined, much more like a chimpanzee can maybe like press a button on a computer screen and say, I love bananas, give me more bananas. But it can't, it's kind of like confined by that. So our tongues are much more powerful like that. And so therefore we have a higher tongue, we should use it for a higher purpose. So basically we can speak, and our words have a lot of power. Something spoken, the wrong thing at the wrong time, can have like a huge negative impact on their life. Or like, if you're going to court, you hire a lawyer just so he can speak the specific words, so those words aren't messed up. Like, and some are very important, or like the president, they may have someone write the entire speech for them, just because they're like talking to millions and millions of people. They don't want to say the wrong words. They want to make sure it's double, triple, quadruple checked. And so maybe who wants to read all these different ways, and then when you're reading these, think of other ways that how words can actually have a big effect on your life. To like, again, the tongue. We're talking about the tongue here. Okay, you raise your hand.
Okay. When we want to create, we start by thinking, then talking about it.
Right? So anyone ever wanted to create or do anything, like have an idea, make a business or make a band or make brownies? You just tell your friend, hey, it'd be a good idea to do that, right? They say, yeah, okay, let's do it. And it, it always starts from a thought, then you can express it, then it can manifest. All right, next one.
Marriage vows.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. I do, or I don't.
Or turn around.
Yeah, I won't. But that's actually they were to get your marriage license. They require verbally to say that. I will in the marriage. I pronounce you, by the power invested in me, man, and like that. So what's the next one?
Verbal yes needed on exit row.
Oh, okay. Who traveled on Spirit Airlines before? That like you get like this exit row. There's like 6 or 10 seats on the exit row, and they're like a little extra room. It's kind of nice. It's like getting like business class, at least on Spirit business class. And then, but they ask you, they're like, all right, we're gonna need a verbal yes that you can help us, like in case of emergency. You need to tell them yes. So you're making like an agreement with them. Okay, what else?
Verdict passed by judge.
Oh yeah. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. He's not guilty. Something like that, or he's guilty, whatever it is. Okay, next one. Oh yeah, the cops. How many people have heard that one before in their personal lives? Okay, all right. No one else have ever got arrested?
Never in this life.
Okay. Well, anyway, I wasn't doing anything that bad. It was like I was 14 or 16, and my friends they were spray painting something, and I got caught with them, and we got trespassed. But
That's my story too.
yeah, I didn't hear nothing. I didn't see nothing. Okay, what's the last one? Because on my screen it's like really small.
Words can build empires, start wars, save lives.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the suicide hotline. Just telling someone, hey, this is not, it's not as bad as you think it is, or whatever they say. I've never actually called one of those lines, but I mean, they exist. They must be helping someone. Or like starting wars. Like the French Revolution was famously started by, must be a false clip. I don't think it's actually something that was said, but maybe it was like propaganda to start it. But like Marie Antoinette, like all the peasants are starving. They run out of grains. They've run out of wheat. Oh, they've run out of wheat. They can't eat. Well, then let them eat cake. It was like this kind of a statement to like show like, oh, the aristocracy is so disconnected from the main population. So let us, off with their heads. And that was like the whole, the 16, 17, 1800s were all just filled of all these revolutions, just getting out this craziness of controlling the population. Which that's another way. The words you can by just speaking words. If you speak lies, people can deceive so many things. Like Bernie Madoff with his big Ponzi scheme. Just you'll make 20% a month. You just give me $100,000, all your life savings, and I'll give you back 20% a month every month. And then he just does that, and he keeps doing it, and he has 20, 30, 40, $50 million or whatever, billions of dollars. And he's just paying people a little bit, and then all of a sudden he's like, all right, I can't pay you, and he just disappears. It's crazy. So the last thing that I wanted to say about the tongue, someone else wants to read. Yes?
Tongue is the rudder.
The tongue is the rudder. Like if we have our ship of our life, we have where we want to go and we want to navigate it. The tongue it's said in many different things. I mean, I think this is a quote from the Bible, but also in Vedic literature, and many deep thinkers have realized the power of the tongue. The tongue is something that's like, because it can do so many things, and it affects our life so deeply. actually how you can control your tongue is like if you control the rudder on the boat. Even though the rudder is a small little piece of wood, still you can navigate, across the 7 seas or a small lake.
I was just thinking that also through the
Off the
tongue,
coast of Georgia.
through the tongue comes sound, and sound creates consciousness. That's why also it connects to our chanting.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That would be the yoga of the tongue. We're just talking about the tongue, but yeah, that's right. Can someone read the Bible quote?
Look at ships, though they are so large, they are guided by a very small rudder. So also the tongue is a very small member, yet it boasts of great exploits.
So that must have been
Three,
three-
chapter 4 and 6. Or
Yeah.
46.
So that's a nice language. It probably wasn't written recently, but I like eloquent language. Saying the same thing, that even though it's small, like part of our body weight, the tongue is not much, but the tongue can get you in a lot of trouble. Or if you're a good talker, it can get you a lot of good stuff. One of my friends actually has a special birthmark on his tongue, which signifies his potency of speech. And boy, when he talks to you, you're just like, wow. It can either really fire you up, make you really angry, make you give him money, make you do all kinds of things. He just, he's like, works magic with his tongue. Like in Latin, I think they call it Kaiser Soze, the king of wisdom, of being able to speak.
The gift of gab.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like some people have it, some people don't. It's also said a fool is hidden until he opens his mouth. So that's also, you can do that. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the tongue. Does anyone have any more things they want to say about the tongue? Because then I want to switch to yoga a little bit, talking about yoga. No? Okay.
Miscommunication.
Yeah, the tongue can miscommunicate and
Start a
then
war.
destroy your life. Yeah. Yeah, like, Julian Assange made a good quote that wars are started by lies. And so if we just make the truth, then we can have peace. That makes sense. You can look, any war is ultimately just two people that want more stuff. So someone has to lie to get everyone to fight and die for it. And that's usually what happens. I mean, you never go to someone, hey, will you die for me so I can get more stuff? I mean, if you just said it like that, they'd be like, hell no, get out of here. But if you're like, hey, he called your mother a blankety blank. What are you gonna do about that, huh? And then they go to him, hey, he did this, and they're like, where you going? And it's like, that's it. So, what is yoga? Raise your hand. Yes.
Yoga, I think it means to connect.
Nice. Okay. Anyone else? What is yoga? For 200 points.
Where's the Gryffindor?
What'd you say?
Where's Gryffindor?
Where's Gryffindor? Oh yeah. Yeah. No. 200 points from Gryffindor.
Does it mean union with God?
Okay, that's even, yeah. So yoga, yeah, yoga. I mean, when we think of yoga, I put this picture on your left, your right, my left, your right. And we kind of think of yoga is also doing postures. And I would say, in terms of what you said, yoga means connect or connection. When you're doing this, you're connecting with your body, and it's a preliminary workout to be able to connect with your mind and then utilize your mind as a tool. When we do yoga, I've heard Dave Altman is like a asana master.
I practice yoga.
Yeah. So this yoga asana is very powerful, right? I mean, you can when you're doing a lot of nice asanas, your whole body and mind is completely freed and pure. It's a mechanical process to really focus yourself. So actually, I went to India recently, and I spent a month in a place called Ujjain, where they had a very nice Ayurvedic treatment center. And then one thing they had me do is this: okay, you have to do yoga every day. So I just started doing yoga every day for now 2 months, and it's been absolutely game changing. I have to say, it's just with everything. I have way more energy. I can sit down and I can focus way better. when I want to study something, I can do it without getting distracted. And I just like, all I added was 15 minutes of stretching in the morning. That's basically what I'm doing. I mean, it's basically stretching and breathing. And so that's one kind of yoga, but that doesn't get to the higher thing of yoga. What you said was union with God. Union also means connection. So yoga means connection. So whether you can have so many things, like yoga comes from the root word yukta, and it's a cognate of the word yoke, which is also a word we don't really hear lately. But if you have a wagon and you have your horses and you want to, or your oxen, and you want to put them together, you yoke the oxen onto your wagon. I mean, we haven't had to do that. When's the last time you had to yoke your oxen? Not.
You have to yoke your kids.
Yeah. So, or even the egg yolk, it's all connected together. I mean, that was off the cuff, but you guys like that, right? We don't eat eggs, by the way, but if you do, whatever, that's okay. So yoga is connection, and everyone is connected or connecting to something. So what are things that you guys connect with? Don't everyone answer all at once. Someone that didn't say something yet. Who just came in? What is something you guys are connecting with?
Music.
You connect with music. Yeah, everyone raise your hand if you like to connect with music. Yeah, I love music. Is amazing. That's like one of the most powerful connections there is. Okay, but there's more. That's not the only thing we can connect with. People. Okay, you can connect with people. That's right. And like she said, say it again. Union with God. So God is a person. We can also connect with God. So that's like, we call that bhakti yoga. So that's like a very, very wonderful yoga. I mean, that's what we teach here. This is the bhakti school. So we want to talk and hear and teach about and learn about how to connect with the Supreme Person. But the thing about connecting with the Supreme Person is because he's also connected with everybody else. If you connect with the Supreme, you're also connecting with everyone else in a very sublime, wonderful way. Some things I thought of when I was brainstorming, like when I was a kid, I used to connect a lot with my video games. Like who here likes Zelda 64 and Smash Bros? Yeah, Melee or the new one.
All of it.
Yeah, that's right. Even 64 is good. I'm still connected to it. I mean, I haven't played it in a long time, but it was such a game. And I noticed here in New York, a lot of people connect with their dogs. Oh, what were you about to say? Phone? Phone. Yeah, okay, that's true. Okay, so these are different things we connect with. And we'll talk about like we'll talk about all these different kind of connections. We can agree some connections are nicer, some connections are not so nicer. Like we have to connect with maybe our boss at work. We're only connected there because we want money, and that's maybe not nice. But either way, whatever we're connected with, that's what sustains us. Everyone's life is just full of these different relationships with different things, and that's what their life is. That's what everyone's life is. So we're all connected to something. But then I want to talk more about the quality of these connections. So we combine yoga, union, and our tongue, and specifically, what is our tongue connecting with? Like our tongue, it does two things. Who wants to read them? Carmen, can you read? There's two small things. Speaking and eating, which hopefully are things everyone's done today, and we're speaking right now, and some of you guys are saying stuff, I'm saying stuff, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna eat something. And then there's this thing, it's called GIGO, or garbage in, garbage out. So if you're only ever bringing in nonsense, then only nonsense is going to come out. If you're only ever bringing in like wonderful things, then only wonderful things are going to be able to come out. Like if you get a sponge and you put it in water and it's like blue colored water, and you take the sponge out and I like chuck it at Krishna and on a shirt, what color is the sponge shaped blotch on your shirt going to be? Blue. It's going to be blue. So whatever's in our environment, like, okay, now let's be real. Who here has ever spent more than an hour doom scrolling on Facebook, watching TikTok or YouTube or all these other things? Raise your hand. Don't, never? Wow. Okay. That's strong. That's powerful. But okay, did you ever feel good after it? No, you felt bad, right? It was like, I've got stuck with just like, the hell did I just waste my time doing? Like I got nothing accomplished. And so that's like just eating a bunch of garbage and expecting to feel healthy. Like it's whatever's going to be able to come out of your consciousness, which is expressed mostly in what you speak. Like I said, a fool can only be detected until he speaks. So one definition of a fool by that means is a person that is only collecting garbage. But I say we shouldn't be fools, we should be chickens. Who agrees? Why do you agree? Why do you want to be a chicken? Because
the chicken can like pick the grains out of the garbage.
oh, okay. Who wants to be like a chicken?
Now we want.
Yeah, everyone wants to be a chicken now. Yeah, like exactly. Like even if there's garbage around, we should all become like chickens. New York is full of a lot of garbage you see on the street every day, and a lot of like also like consciousness garbage. But if we're like chickens, everyone has something actually good to offer, and if we can just have that and not take the garbage, then we're getting good stuff in. When good stuff comes in, then what comes out? Good stuff. So, they say if you want to know your future, take a look at the 5 of your best friends, and that's what your future is going to be, or the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I would kind of take that a step a little bit different. I would say, like, where are all your connections at? Like, what are you actually connecting with in your life? And that's what your future is going to be. Whatever you're bringing in, it's eventually going to come out like that. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that the art of living, the art of all things, is getting proper connections. If we just adjust our connections in life, then we can adjust our future. We can adjust our thoughts. We can adjust our words. Therefore, we can adjust our actions. Then we can adjust our habits. Then we can adjust our personality. And that can completely adjust our future. Like if you hang out with a bunch of potheads that don't like to work, then are you going to be like a hustling billionaire? I probably guaranteed not. Like unless it's some really thing that you can just totally disassociate from that. Like I grew up in the time of Michael Phelps. Does anyone know who Michael Phelps is? You remember Michael Phelps? Like he won a lot. He was like the best swimmer. I grew up in Michigan. And he's older than me, but I remember like people like, oh, Michael Phelps is in the pool, like in Ann Arbor. He's swimming now. And everyone would freak out and like try to go meet him. And he, who he hung out with? Yeah, he hung out with world-class Olympic swimmers. And that's all they talked about. That's all they did. And that's what happened to his life, and then after he stopped doing that, then, his life changed because who he was with and what he was connecting with changed. So then my proposition, or our proposition here at the Bhakti school, at the Radha Govinda temple, is that we should try to connect with transcendent things, with higher things. And, as much as possible, try to associate with like-minded, higher people with saintly personalities. Like there's so many books, so many people that are speaking that have already absorbed themselves in that we can hear from that. And these impressions that we get from that, this connection with that'll help change our life in the best kind of way. Like Premamani was saying earlier, read the board.
What you say was,
No, the yellow, the big one.
Universe originates from sound.
So that's what we say. Who agrees? Yeah, the universe originates from sound. I mean, and the Bible says, there was the Word, and the Word was God, and God said, "Let there be light." So like, God just said something, and it just was. And we say a similar thing in the Vedic tradition. So there's the Vedanta Sutra. With Vedanta means the end of knowledge, or the like what you do when you have all knowledge. And sutra is a thread, or it means basically a statement that's like super condensed. Like you just take some really far out thing and you condense it into like just as minimal syllables as possible. So there's a whole book called the Vedanta Sutras, which people sometimes study and has a lot of wisdom in it. And you can like meditate on each one and it expands out, and many people have commentaries on it, and it's something. So one of those in there is Anavritti Shabda, that liberation by sound. Either we hear these sounds that are garbage and we stay, or we become garbage, either we're in the middle and we become garbage, or we're already garbage and we just stay garbage, or we hear vibrations that are higher and we become higher. From lower we become higher. Like they say, from darkness to light, or guru is the one that turns on the light. Om Jnana Timirandasya. That I'm indebted to the guru who has opened my eyes with the torchlight of transcendental knowledge. So this is the power of sound. This is the power of mantra, of association. Like our Srila Prabhupada. Who knows Srila Prabhupada? Who's ever heard those two words together like that? Who hasn't heard that? Srila Prabhupada? You've heard that? That's a picture. That's a name for this guy. So he's like our kind of like the guru of the whole institution. He took this knowledge from India in the 60s and spread it throughout the different Western countries. And there's even a temple in Georgia that I learned about today. And so he, just by his association and what he had brought in, and by the power of his tongue, he was being able to bring so much change to so many people, specifically with the power of mantra. He said his main medicine, his main weapon was just hearing and chanting this Maha Mantra, which is called the Tarak Brahma Kirtan Mantra. So it means, Brahma means it's like spiritual or transcendental sound. It's like not just like a mundane sound. Like if we have a mundane sound, like I just say water, 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 water. Did anyone's thirst get quenched? Did anyone get more thirsty? Did anyone like that? Maybe we can record some ASMR later. But if you just chant water, you can chant it like billions of times. Actually, maybe someone might bring you a glass of water, like, just shut up, man, here's water. But in general, it's not considered a transcendental sound. Whereas you have mantras, which are sounds that have been like infused with certain potencies, or that are referring to certain transcendental things. And so when you chant mantras like the Hare Krishna mantra, I mean, I chant the mantra all day, all night, and it's like it doesn't get boring. It keeps on getting better and better. The more I focus my consciousness on it, it gets better. If I focus my consciousness away on it, it gets worse. That's my experience, and that's also what the books say. So it's a Tarak Brahma mantra. It's like a spiritual sound which can help deliver us to higher consciousness. And so, like I said before, like everyone knows what a gateway drug is. Who knows what can name one of the gateway drugs? Marijuana. Anyone else? Nicotine. Alcohol. That's that. They say that's the worst one. Alcohol is the worst. Caffeine. LSD. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't think that's technically a hard drug, but I don't think it's a gateway drug either.
What about mushrooms?
Yeah, LSD and mushrooms. I don't know. I don't know how much I can. I know if you look on Wikipedia, it's these four: like alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, and caffeine. So all our senses are different, like recording instruments. They're all like taking in all this information, and our brain is processing a little, but it all has an effect on us, whether we can process it or not. It has some effect on us. And they say the tongue is the gateway sense. Like I was saying, if you just control your tongue, then you can end up controlling all the other senses. Whereas if you can't control your tongue, then all the senses are bound to go haywire at some point. So in that way, like everyone knows from the war on drugs, they term this thing the gateway drug, that you do these harmless, so to speak, drugs, but then they lead to the harder drugs that because like kids are like starting to drink younger, then they're going to get into cocaine and heroin and all this stuff and meth later because they started on the gateway drugs. So similarly with your tongue, if you want to raise your consciousness, that's the whole idea, to change your life in a positive way, then you just have to control your tongue. Like previously we compared the tongue to a rudder. So you just change the direction of the rudder. If you have control of the rudder, you can change the direction of your ship. So the idea is we want to have control of our tongue. And so what are two things the tongue does? Speaking and eating, and or tasting, you could say. So what kind of things do you think we could do to control our speaking? Krishna will tell us something in the Bhagavad Gita, but before we get to that, I want to hear what everyone else has to say, because actually we're all an expansion, a minute infinitesimal expansion of Krishna. So we also are connected to this knowledge. Yes.
I think if we learn to not speak, then we can control speaking.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. That if we just shut up and listen, or just try to be quiet, like don't speak nonsense. Like there's this Vedic story. There's a lot of stories with frogs and different animals. Maybe we'll go through these animals related to the tongue. So the frog misuses his tongue because they ribbit, 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 and they're just going like that the entire night. But the snake can hear that, and so the frog is just saying whatever it's saying. I mean, what does ribbit mean? I don't know. It's saying something. I'll agree. It's not just nothing. Maybe it's saying it wants a mate. Maybe I don't know. Who knows about frogs? Anyone a frogologist? Okay, well, when I meet them, they can tell us exactly what the ribbits mean. Because actually, I learned this thing. Cats have different language, and you can like learn how to speak it. If you say like sh or sh, or it means different things to the cat. Like increasing intensity of like, no, I don't like that. And if you say the K and you just keep that sound going, it's like extremely like, you better not do that. I'm gonna mess you up. I haven't tried it yet, but that's what they said. I saw something like that and it made sense because the cats. Anyways, so the frog is just going ribbit, 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 but the snake can hear it and then eats the frog. So that's like we're like wasting our life if we're not actually in knowledge. Like it says, a fool is hidden only until he speaks. So we can just remain silent and actually listen. Like my 6th grade teacher was one of the things I remember. He would always repeat in class. He said, "Listening is a skill." Who here agrees with that? Yeah, that's one of the most powerful skills. Like someone was saying, we want to connect with, who said music? You said music. So if we want to connect in music, like if we're like either we're listening to music together, like that's like a very nice thing, right? Just buy like some album and put it on, and everyone gets together and like listens to it. Engineering music.
Sharing, like
Yeah. Hey, I love this song. You want to like hear it together or something like that? It's always like that. Or making music together. So making music requires, you can't just be in a vacuum. You have to listen to the other person. You can't just like all right, I'm just gonna like just start playing these chords really loud and really fast, and you have to just follow me. Like that's like, okay, you're not really gonna want to jam with that person, Whereas like everyone's listening to each other, they can everyone gets into a vibe and it becomes a groove. And then it's like, it just becomes amazing. So listening. All right. Any other ideas how we can help control our tongue, control our speech?
By controlling our mind, what we think.
Okay. Yeah. Controlling our mind, what we think. Yes. I definitely agree with that. And so I was saying a little bit before, like garbage in, garbage out. So we're just reading like People magazine and just talking gossip with everyone and shooting the breeze and how's the weather and blah, blah, blah. And like never actually like talking something real, talking something deep. Then what's going to come out of our mouth? Something shallow. No one likes someone shallow. That's usually a diss when you call someone shallow, right? So we want to be deep. Deep is nice. Okay, one more and then we'll go. Yes.
It's controlling the people you surround yourself with.
Controlling the people you surround yourself. So if you're with a bunch of Olympic athlete swimmers, you're probably going to become a better swimmer, whether you like it or not. Or if you're with a bunch of Hare Krishnas, you're probably going to like know more about what Hare Krishna means and like you're probably going to do it a little bit and just it's going to change your life in some way. Whatever you surround yourself with is going to change you in some way. So here's what Krishna says. He says that to be austere in speech, which means to like control what's coming out, how your tongue is acting, you should speak words that are truthful, like or pleasing. Who else? Read it. Everyone read it. Someone raise your hand. Someone? No, not you. Yes.
Truthful.
truthful,
pleasing,
pleasing,
beneficial,
beneficial,
not agitating to others,
not agitating to others,
regularly reciting Vedic literature.
regularly reciting Vedic literature. Okay, so like politicians or customer care representatives are very good at speaking very pleasingly. Yes, if you vote for me, your life will be perfect and I will solve all your problems and kill all your enemies and just vote for me. And then they become the president or they become whatever and it's like nothing happened. Like Biden was saying, if I get elected, I'm going to cancel all the student debt. And I was like, I got like, I'm not gonna say how much I have. I'm paying it off, and there's this cool thing. If you work for a nonprofit for 120 months, you can get paid off. But I was like, better get it done before that. But it didn't happen yet. So, anyways, my backup plan is still there. But but they're not truthful. How many people have been on the customer care call? And, sir, just hold, please, just a minute. And it's just like 30 minutes later, it's like nothing is going, and they always have to like just kick the can down to the next one. And it's so annoying. Like my friend, he just poked his head in there. He was just on a flight from Dubai to here. and I think it was from India to Dubai to here. And they told him, sorry, sir, the flight is just delayed 30 minutes. Okay, so just have a seat and wait 30 minutes. And then 30 minutes comes by and we're having to announce that the plane is delayed for another 30 minutes. Okay, everyone just stay in their seats. And it's like, it happened like for hours and hours and hours until they're like, okay, everyone, this flight is canceled. Everyone grab your baggage and like go out. Like they could have, one lady, he told me one lady vomited because she was so stressed out. And then they had to call the police, the SWAT team from the airport to like stop the riot from all these angry Bengalis that were like missing their flight. Yeah, it was like, because like, and if you just tell the truth, something got messed up with the scheduling, we might have to reschedule this flight, wait 30 minutes and we'll know more. That's like much more, even though it's the inconvenient truth, it's much more than a palatable lie. Who wants an inconvenient truth more than a palatable lie? Who wants a palatable lie? Okay, good. That's good. But also, yeah, exactly. It does depend on the situation. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't want the rude awakening. I mean, we all have our right to be nicely awoken. So, and it also says it should be beneficial. So, like I said, if we're just reading People magazine and we just talk to people about the latest village gossip, does that really benefit anything? Actually, one thing I recently heard, I heard that if you criticize someone and they have no hard feelings toward you, what ends up happening, like karmically or psychically or somehow, that all those bad qualities that you were criticizing, they just get amplified in you, and whatever good qualities you had that were like supposedly opposite to that get transferred to that person. If they have no hard feelings when you're criticizing them, then that happens. So it's like, why even focus on that? Just focus on the good qualities. Because then alternatively, if you just focus on the good qualities of everything, that'll just get more and more in your consciousness, in what you see and what you actually grow in within yourself. And not agitating to others. So also, yeah, like you said, it depends. Like sometimes we do want a little bit of smooth talking done. Like you don't want to just get hit with like bag. It's like, hey, the rent is due right now. Come on, give me. And it's like, whoa. Speak a little more pleasing. Actually, speaking pleasing words, speaking sweet words is such it's becoming a lost art. But if you, the bottom one, reading Vedic literatures regularly, if you hear how like Krishna speaks to his mother or his friends or whatever, it's like incredibly sweet. Or like how they like, they're going to their guru or going somewhere, how they're phrasing a question. It's like, it's so like, instead of just, I think you're wrong and you suck and blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, well, I have some doubt about what you were saying, but it was very nice. And like, it's like they have actually, even modern psychologists, they say when you talk to someone, you have something you need to like tell them about that's like kind of like a criticism. Sometimes criticism is necessary, especially if we have children or we have people that we were trying to help or different things. Or if we have some problem and someone's trying to call it, hey, you got some schmutz on your, thing. Someone needs to tell you sometimes that having pleasing words is much better. But if we regularly recite Vedic literature, we'll be able to hear so many examples of this. And like a great guru once said that a spiritual person or like a high consciousness person, they can be identified by their steadiness and by the fact that they only speak beneficial words, which is a byproduct of basically because they're completely absorbed in spiritual higher things. And whatever they see, actually they become like a touchstone, where whatever they see or come in contact with you, that they just see it in terms of its higher connections or its spiritual connections rather than lower mundane things. And so their only beneficial things are coming out. So if you meet someone like that, then you can understand they're very steady in some sort of spiritual practice, and they're only speaking beneficial words rather than there's another word called prajalpa, or gossip, or useless words, or garbage. If someone's speaking a lot of garbage, then so like it's like you see people on the phone, they're just like talking for so long, but it's like saying nothing. I mean, I sometimes do that, but I try not to. If everyone prays for me, then I can get a lot of mercy, because there's like so many people in the room right now that it'll be powerful. So that's speaking. So we know we heard some things from Krishna about speaking. And anyways, I don't expect, I'm going to go to the last slide, and we're going to see what you guys, if you remembered anything. And if you didn't remember anything, that's okay. But if you remembered something, that's good. On the last slide, we have something. Who knows Bengali? Some people know Bengali. So we have this nice prayer. We have prasad. Who knows what prasad means? Prasad. Who doesn't know what prasad means? The word prasad. Prasad means mercy or blessings. And when we say prasad, we normally refer to food that we eat. Like in Hare Krishna temples, we normally mean the food that we eat. We call it prasad or prashad. Depends on how you pronounce it. And right here we have a different, it's kind of a grainy picture, I'm sorry. But every day we make this big, nice assortment of delicious foodstuffs. And what we do is we prepare it in a special sanctified way, and we pray and meditate on it in a special way where we're trying to actually offer it to God. Now, does God need our offering? No, because God, actually, what can we offer? It's already His anyways. It's like, who has a mom? Who's ever given their mom a Mother's Day card? And when they were young, who paid for that Mother's Day card? Dad did, right? Yeah. So yes. So that's very sweet. Yeah, that's good. A lot of my times it would be the day before his Mother's Day, and my dad would bring me and my brother and my sister into the car, and we'd go to the Hallmark store or whatever, and we'd all like have to pick out a card and make a message and sign it. But it's all coming from mom and dad's money anyways. So similarly, Krishna or God, or the supreme controller and owner of everything, controls and owns everything. So what does He need out of us? But it's good for us to actually connect with that, with the Supreme, with Krishna. And it's also, by doing that connection, by making those prayers, it actually changes the food in a special way. And therefore it becomes prasad or mercy or blessings. One sad thing in New York, my friend from Bangladesh was here, he's leaving tomorrow. He noticed there's so many restaurants here. People must not cook at home. Who here cooks at home? Wow. Okay. One thing, I used to study statistics. I was a computer science and statistics major. And one of the statistics I found very interesting was if you look at health, and you just take all the factors that you can use to predict health, and you just leave them one by one, and what is the most single predicting factor of having good health or bad health, it was whether or not you're eating home-cooked meal versus eating out. So that's why I said give yourself a round of applause, because when you're actually cooking food, you're putting your own consciousness into that. Whereas how much do you think the guy flipping the burgers or whatever he's cooking at whatever nice restaurant or bad restaurant, in so many restaurants in New York, how much consciousness do you think he's actually putting into that? How much do you think he cares about the oil that they're using? How much do you think the manager cares to spend money on like nice tasting things? Whether it's just about making money, right? The guy probably hates his job, or even if he likes his job, it's just a job, it's work. But when you're cooking for yourself or for your family, I mean, who here has had a nice home cooked meal from their from their family ever? Okay, good. I would feel bad if someone never had. I'd much rather have a nice home cooked meal, from my mother or from my family, or like I cook something like out of love. That's always like it's gonna taste much better, even if it's the same exact ingredients. So therefore, what we eat is also what goes into us. Also, it's also kind of yoga with the tongue, and so we can eat consciously. According to Ayurveda, you should chew your food like so many number of times, but basically it just means you should end up mixing everything with your saliva and completely chewing it down so that when it goes in your body, it can be completely and easily absorbed. Whereas I used to have the bad habit of just wolfing down my food as fast as possible, like hardly chewing it, hardly swallowing it, But actually, if you eat that way, then you'll notice you'll get fuller with much less food and you'll have way more energy. Who here gets tired after they eat? Yeah, I do too a lot. But if you actually eat more consciously, then you will get tired much less.
Excuse me, don't they say that digestion starts? It doesn't say the tongue, but in the mouth?
And you can even take it farther. Digestion can start with the eyes. If you see something good, doesn't your mouth water a little bit? Like you're like, wow, that looks really good. I mean, that's how they get you on the highway ads. Like, come to this restaurant, look at the French fries, or look at the whatever. So yeah. But definitely, it starts in the mouth. Like you're even if you take a piece of bread and you just suck on it for a long time, you'll end up tasting sugary sweetness because the enzymes in your saliva which break it down, and that actually starts the digestive process. And furthermore, it shows the body that yes, this is stuff we want to absorb. And it's like kind of warning the rest of the system, like, all right, we're going to have this proteins and this things. And your kind of stomach knows what's coming easier when you really chew it nicely. But that's a whole nother talk about eating and Ayurveda. Maybe I'll give that next time I speak. But therefore, we should have Mahaprashadam, good foodstuffs, and we should vibrate the sacred sounds and hear wonderful things. And then we get this higher taste on our tongue after having a yoga connection with all these higher things, and we become better. So that's yoga of the tongue. And I would just want everyone to say one thing that they heard, going in a counter clockwise circle, starting with Sevika.
Well, you can control your tongue by not speaking at first, maybe just thinking about what you're going to say. So that helps to control your tongue.
Control your tongue by your thoughts. Yeah, she was saying something similar. Yes. Okay.
One thing that I took is that we have to eat more consciously.
Eat more consciously. Yes.
Yeah.
What's one way to eat more consciously?
By cooking your own food and not going outside.
Cooking your own food. Who here likes to cook their own food? Who here likes to eat their own cooking? Yeah, cooking is kind of austere, but those who like to eat learn how to cook. That's just generally what happens. Okay, Prema Mani first, and then we'll go.
That the definition we heard today of yoga is union with God.
That would be like Bhagavat yoga or Bhakti yoga.
And through that yoga process, the tongue is used in a more purified way, and so that connection.
Yeah, so we can hear things about God and we can speak about God, and that's using our tongue in connection with God. Therefore, it's the yoga of the tongue, or Bhakti yoga with our tongue. Yes? It's okay. I'm sure.
I think I can find one more to say.
Even if you repeat something, I'm sure you have a slightly different angle of vision.
I think I want to say, I want to say by silencing the mind with chanting.
Yeah. So who said quieting the mind, listening? Yeah. So that's actually something I wanted to talk about a little more too. That by just being quiet, then we can actually listen. And another way of being quiet is kind of not letting ourselves either hear those negative things or say those negative things. So it's easier, like if I already have something in my hand, it's easier to just hold the good thing rather than like keep my hands empty. Because if my hands are empty, then I can always grab like the bad thing. But if I keep something good in my hands always, then I can just always be holding the good thing. So if we want to be silent, or at least silent to nonsense, then we always just have to be hearing higher things. Like we try to read higher conscious literature like the Bhagavad Gita or the Bhagavatam or the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Like Prabhupada says, there's limitless Vedic literatures that we can recite and hear. And so by reciting that, then we're getting the thoughts and the consciousness ultimately of these higher beings, of these higher advanced souls. And that keeps us in a very happy, wonderful mood. Whereas then we just hear the consciousness of lower and mundane things and get stuck on the Bali platform, then that well, I don't know, that leads us somewhere else. Yeah, anything? Yeah.
If you're gonna criticize somebody, don't criticize them harshly, but be eloquent and kind to them,
Yes.
so they can be receptive
Yes.
of the criticism.
Yeah, if you need to criticize someone, it should be for their upliftment, your upliftment, or the group's upliftment. You know, because we all have our problems, and I they call it the shadow in psychology. You have your problems that you can't really see, like you can't really see your shadow sometimes. But yeah, shadow work. So if someone else, it's usually very obvious, and actually whatever's in your shadow work, you get agitated when you see it in someone else because it's what you don't like about yourself the most. But because everyone wants to think that they're so perfect and good that they kind of forget about that. So it's very, very useful to have honest friends. Like who wants an honest friend to just tell them, maybe they don't tell you harshly. There's a way of saying it sweetly. Oh, my dear friend, I've loved you for so long and you're such a great person. But there's this little thing, so and then actually it's funny whenever you say the word but, it negates everything you said before. So try not to say it like that, but it's an art of speaking sweetly. You can meditate on it and come up with somehow in your own, whenever you have to do it, because you'll all have to do that someday with someone somehow. You're not going to get away from it. Okay, newcomers, anything that you heard or you're just coming in right now? Okay, just say Hare Krishna. Thank you. So they're controlling their tongue. Carmen.
An enlightened person will control the senses, beginning with the tongue.
An enlightened person, yeah. We have a verse. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udara pasta vegam itan vegam yovesha hetadira sarvam abhimam pritivim sashishyat. This is the first verse from one of my favorite personalities, one of Prabhupada's favorite personalities, Rupa Goswami. He made 11 verses. That was his summarization of everything. That's what he said. He said a person controls their tongue. That's one of the first things they do, a spiritual person. Okay. Yes.
Good in, good out.
Good in, good out, and garbage in, garbage out. So who wants to put garbage in? Who wants to put good stuff in?
But those
That's right.
burgers sometimes are so tasty.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Everyone, when you're working out hard, sometimes everyone has a cheat day or something like that. Yeah. But we understand. If we understand the principle, then our future will still change no matter what little cheat days we have. Even with a cheat day, you can still become ripped. I mean, I don't know. I'm not ripped, but that's so they say.
I've learned that the tongue is the rudder.
Tongue is the rudder.
It really struck me.
Good metaphor, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to that one. You guys want to see this? Yeah, tongue is the rudder.
I was thinking through my mind, all the relationships that I've I treated someone poorly. It all started with the way I was speaking to them, or certain destructive habits that one develops throughout life. It all starts the tongue. So it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Where you direct, where it's going to take you in life, literally starts from the tongue and the mouth, I guess.
Yeah, just little thing of the body. How much percentage of your body weight is your tongue? 1%, 0.5%. I don't know. I'm not a physiologist, doctor, but it's so potent that it controls everything else. So therefore, but it makes it simple. You want to change the direction of your big 20-ton boat. You just turn the rudder a little bit, and then you start changing. So similarly, we just make sure we have to grab onto our tongue, which means all these things we've been saying, like control our environment, control what we hear, because actually whatever you're speaking is just a result of what you're hearing, and then what you say will change. And a little bit of our controlling our mind, like controlling means what I'm saying pleasing? Is it truthful? Is it beneficial? If we just like go through this checklist on what we're saying, is it a direct quote from Vedic literature? If you're directly quoting from Vedic literature, then that's like strong speech. That's like you're pretty safe. Or any kind of like a sacred literature, you're usually pretty safe. Although you should understand, is it beneficial? Because there's some people that think that they're trying to quote from spiritual literature, that it's maybe it's truthful, but it's so unpleasing. It's definitely not benefiting anyone. It's completely agitating to others. Who here has experienced that with like religious fanatics? Like, no one's ever experienced that. And yeah, it's like, it's so annoying. I mean, we find coping mechanisms to deal with it, but it's something that's like leaves it actually is a disservice to all religion, because it makes all religions look worse when a very small portion become like complete fanatics and just bother everyone. Like if they actually were connected with God, they would be able to connect with people in like a natural way that is like, you're gonna burn in hell forever, just for no reason, because that's what I think. And like you can't if you want to try to have a conversation with it, it just becomes like no conversation. I mean, you can even tell like even just thinking about it, I'm like my throat is closing up. Because it's not pleasing, it's not beneficial, it's not useful. Okay, yes. First hymn. Okay, you. Yeah.
The tongue is for eating and speaking.
The tongue can eat and speak, and so therefore controlling those things is like controlling a rudder. Okay, let's rapid fire. Christina.
An indicator of somebody with a higher consciousness is them speaking in beneficial and spiritual and useful terms about others and in general.
Yes, and do you remember the other quality? It's two qualities. Steadiness in their practice, yes. And yes?
Oh, I like the part about the comparison between restaurant food and homemade food.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. Like even if you have the same ingredients and you make it yourself, it's just much better.
Yeah. I mean, if you burn it at the restaurant, they're like, all right, screw it, just serve it out. But if you burn it like for yourself, first of all, you're probably going to be more conscious, hopefully, instead of like on the phone and trying to do a million things. But if you're like actually focused on cooking it, there's like, there's this median point where you can just get everything perfectly cooked. And I like to cook too, so I know a little bit about cooking. Yes.
Speaking truth.
Yeah.
Avoiding gossiping.
Yeah, speaking words that are truthful and avoiding gossip. Gossip is like garbage in, garbage out. Okay, Kataruchi.
Thank you for your beautiful class, and I never thought I would see the Rolling Stone emblem. Really super clever. And secondly, there's
You can't always get what you want, but you control your tongue, you can change your life.
Yeah. And so with that expression, the sandwich method, when you want to tell someone.
Oh yeah.
Like so nice filler
Exactly.
intro in the beginning.
Yeah, you're such a wonderful person, but you did this, but you're so great. Like it makes it a lot easier. Actually, I prefer when people communicate with them because I have like my false ego is like a little tender sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like, but also.
You gotta serve it up on a silver platter.
Slice of bread, like looking for and stuff. And then also, I just wanted to say when you're saying like whatever the weight of the tongue is to the body, but isn't it supposed to have a lot of muscle? The tongue.
Tongue is one of the strongest muscls. Yeah.
Right. So just like
Heart in the
with
tongue.
other muscles, you have to exercise. I guess like you have to exercise that muscle.
Exercise it in a good way. Okay, Deva.
In controlling the aspect of controlling the tongue, like that everything doesn't need to be said, like the power of silence.
Yeah, yeah. Listening. Listening is a skill. And the better we get at it, the better our lives will be for sure in everything. Actually, most you were talking about relationship problems. Most relationship problems just come from lack of listening. And I was talking earlier about the dog communication. because the owners can't, they don't know how to actually communicate with their dogs. They think it's in some sort of way, but it's completely wrong. So the dogs just are acting in a completely crazy way. But as soon as someone knows how to listen to the dog and communicate with it properly, it's just completely fine and chilled out. And then they somehow listen to the owner and change the owner, and then the dog is fine. They don't have to, otherwise they're thinking, oh, I have to put this dog down, or I have to give it away, or to do something. I can never take it out because it's just going to attack everyone. It's all about listening. Listening is not only a skill, I'll even go even farther. Listening is a superpower. Yeah, that's right. Krishna say, okay, she wants to say something.
No, it's just, it requires a lot of patience and being
Yeah.
able to hold space for somebody to listen.
Yeah.
And most people don't have that patience.
That's another, Rupa Goswami says, Utsaha Nischarya Daryat, that the three qualities you need are enthusiasm, patience, and determination. But if you don't have patience, then you can't be determined. Patience is very important. Thank you very much. Yes. Anything?
Oh, me?
No, you gave, you. Yeah, sorry. I wish I was powerful enough to just know your guys' names. I feel kind of personal just saying, yo. But for those who I know their names, I'm trying to call on, but you can say your name.
Yeah, it's Nick. Sorry.
Nick. Oh, okay, Nick. Hare Krishna. My name's Natabar.
You said that the universe started by sound.
The universe was created by sound. Yes, that's what's said in the Vedic literature. And actually, if we take it, all the elements that comprise, they actually come from sound. Then comes the air. Then from the air comes fire. Then fire, water. Then water, earth. And then earth is contains all the different vibrations of the other. So it's kind of stacked into each other. And then when the universe is finally dissolved, they all kind of stack back into each other. So you can even, sound is more before you make a sound coming from your voice, you were having some thought. So it's kind of like that, thinking, that vibration. That's what's bringing everything in. All right, I want to make a PowerPoint lecture. I have to think about it, and then I can finally somehow it manifests. So everything comes from that original vibration, that sound. Okay, Georgia. What's your name?
My name is Demuri.
Demuri.
But in America, everyone calls me Demo. It's much easier.
Demo. Okay, Demuri, Demo. Okay, I yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool guy.
Back in the time, I was thinking a lot about this topic because for me, tongue is a big tool to implement your own way of thinking on this world.
Yeah.
Because our mind, our thought is not created by us, as I think. It's coming from higher dimensions, and then you need to have enough power to express it in the right way in this world.
Yeah, all language is you have to filter through the language, which reduces so many things. The guru of Prabhupada, he was saying, I'm so bothered because I want to communicate so many things to you, but it's I'm forced to go so slow, and then you're not understanding all of it. And I just want to keep saying and saying. I could speak for hours and hours, but you can't listen that long. And yeah.
But very special for today's lecture was for me, I never thought about tongue as a way to get right meals in your body, to get the right energies. And now, I realize
makes sense.
You need much more conscious about how you eat your food, even that you are eating it slowly and with the gratitude that you want to consume as much good things as possible from it.
Yeah, if garbage in, garbage out, and it's same if you just think about what you're eating, just the fact that you're conscious of it, automatically the quality is gonna be the best that you know how. If you're focused on something, why would you not get the best you could in a situation? And then just by that, your life will be much better, guaranteed. Whatever situation, even if you're in the desert or the mountain or the seacoast or what's the other
everything
forest? They have everything in Georgia, not Atlanta, Georgia, Europe, Georgia. Okay, I'm sorry, Luis. I've seen you a lot. I should know your name. I'm ashamed, but
I already named you there. So.
Not okay. My name is Natabar. Everyone say Natabar. Natabar. It means you dance in a club, not a bar. Oh no, we don't dance in a club. Well, we dance in the temple. We dance in the kirtan, Natabar. Okay. That's a secret of memory. If you want someone to memorize something, you have to make it stupid. Krishna. Oh, wait. See, I'm bad at listening.
It's a superpower.
Yeah, sorry.
What I took is we all should be like chickens.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, actually, I didn't plan that. You brought that.
Oh, you brought it.
I mean, I maybe brought it out, but you're the one that brought that out of me, I guess. That's what I was saying in the beginning. Like, I didn't. Everyone can teach everyone else something. Wait, does everyone understand? Everyone who wants to be like a chicken? Okay, who doesn't want to be like a chicken? I didn't see them raise their hands. Okay, do you know why everyone raised their hands to be like a chicken? Someone else explain. Yeah.
They can pick,
Okay.
that they can pick out specific things to benefit them.
Yeah, like if a chicken just goes to like a big garbage pile, it'll just like pluck, eat the rice, pluck, eat that like piece of corn, pluck, eat that. But it won't eat the rest of the garbage.
But the only reason why I'm saying I don't want to be like a chicken, the pigeons, which are birds like chickens, have that same pecking thing, but they eat the garbage too.
But they can fly.
Okay, then we'll change it to another bird. Here's another bird, a swan. Swan is another Vedic example because they can take milk and water. If you would mix milk and water, and they have this way that they can curdle the milk in their mouth with a special acid, and they can spit out all the water and just have all the nutrients from the milk.
Is that for real?
I've heard that. I've never seen it. I'm gonna be honest, but I've heard it. So saith the authority. Okay, Krishna, quick.
Okay, a difference between animals and living beings, humans, are that we have more refined speech.
Yes, and now we're gonna have some prasadam. Maybe we'll have a little kirtan, and that's it. I'm done.